Good day everyone. So my name is Harvey Dizon Sanggalang and I am your reporter right now for the topic Gender, Generation and Poverty in the Philippines. So this reporting has three topics: development and poverty in the Philippines, gender in the Philippines, and gender and generational dimensions of poverty in the Philippines. But before that, we should know who is the author of the article or the book, and the author is Sylvia Chan. So Sylvia was a world-leading feminist geographer that encounters a profound impact in the fields of gender studies and international development. She has focused on issues na patungkol sa globalization, urbanization, and mga experiences ng mga marginalized communities. So nag-evolve yung mga issues na tinatalakay niya tungkol sa around gender and development. So let's go to the main topic, the development and poverty in the Philippines. First, the Philippine economy and society in brief. So we all know that the Philippines having gained independence in 1946 dahil sa pananakot ng mga Kastila, ng mga Amerikano at Hapon. So despite some economic growth, the country continues to face challenges tulad ng utang, low investment rates, and increasing competition in manufacturing. Next, the population and demographic dynamics. The rapid population growth in the Philippines characterized by high fertility rates and significant socioeconomic disparities. So, we all know that the Philippines is one of the most populated country in the world. So, yun yung parang isa sa mga kinakaharap na problema ng Pilipinas ay yung pagiging populated nito. Next, the employment. So, the Philippine workforce in 2003 was characterized by significant employment in agriculture, industry, and services. So, kahit may economic growth na pong naranasan ng Pilipinas, may mga challenges pa rin po silang nararanasan tulad ng high unemployment, underemployment, and child labor. So, next is the education. So, the significant challenges faced by the Philippines right now is education or quality education, and I believe it is one of the main problem rin na kinakaharap ng Pilipinas, yung mabigyan ng proper access yung mga kabataang Pinoy sa isang quality education. Next is the health and other social services. So, the Philippines faces significant challenges in providing universal access to essential services tulad ng sanitation, housing, and healthcare. So, napaka-importante sa isang bansa na may proper healthcare system, and I believe yun yung isa pa sa mga nararanasang problema ng Pilipinas, yung healthcare system. Next, the poverty levels and trends. So, the analysis of poverty in the Philippines reveals significant challenges, including inconsistency in measurement methodologies and a persistent high incidence of poverty. So, sinasabi rin sa part na to na kahit may fluctuation or pagbabasa rate or percentage ng kahirapan dito sa ating bansa, ay mas marami pa rin ang naghihirap at patuloy na naghihirap na ating mga kababayan. The last subtopic here in the development of poverty in the Philippines is the poverty reduction initiatives. So, the Philippines government ongoing efforts to reduce poverty since 1987 have evolved through various strategies and programs. So, kumikilos ang gobyerno pa natin para i-reduce yung kahirapan na nararanasan dito sa Pilipinas. Pero hindi ito naging madali sa ating gobyerno dahil sa economy, dahil sa unstable economy ng ating bansa. Now, let's proceed to the gender in the Philippines. So, the Philippines has made significant advancement in gender equality, evidenced by its historical milestone and active women movement. However, persistent gender discrimination and violence against women highlight the complexities and contradictions within the societal framework. Despite the progress, the reality of unequal gender relations remain a critical issue that requires ongoing attention and reform. So, there are 4 subtopics. First, the marriage, family, and sexuality. So, the Filipino family remains a vital social institution, characterized by strong kinship ties despite evolving dynamics such as declining family size and increasing nuclear arrangements. So, we all know that the Philippines is a family-oriented country and maraming expectations towards men and women na kung ano ang dapat nilang role na gampanan sa society. Next is the gender dimensions of education. So, the Philippines demonstrates notable progress in gender equality and education. So, sinasabi dito na mas nag-excel daw po ang mga kababaihan kumpara sa kalalakihan when it comes to education here in the Philippines. The third subtopic is the gender divisions of labor and employment. While female labor force participation in the Philippines has seen significant growth, particularly among older age group, women continue to face challenges. So, nakakaranas pa rin daw po ang mga kababaihan ng unfair treatment when it comes sa pagpapasahod or pagpapasweldo. Lastly is the policy responses to gender inequality. The National Commission on the Role of Filipino Women has significantly contributed to promoting women's empowerment and gender equality in the Philippines. So, may mga policies sila na sinusunod or ginagawa for them to empower women and to have equality towards different gender. So, let's proceed to gender and generational dimensions of poverty in the Philippines. So, I believe there are 6 subtopics. So, first is the views of professionals. So, the analysis reveals a pervasive sentiment among respondents in the Philippines that poverty is not only increasing but it is also making worse by systemic issues such as corruption. So, mas pinapahirap pa daw po ng corruption, mga hindi effective na government, and socio-economic disparities yung kahirapan here in the Philippines. The next is the grassroots perspectives on the meanings, manifestations, and corollaries of poverty. So, the pervasive perceptions of poverty among low-income individuals in the Philippines who often view their circumstances as worse by economic mismanagement. So, one of the main problem here in the Philippines, kaya marami naghihirap na Pilipino at marami nangingirambayan para kumita, ay yung mga lack of job opportunities, mga economic mismanagement, and ang mga hindi tamang pasahod. The next or the third subtopic is the grassroots perspective of gender and generational aspects of poverty. So, the complex dynamics of poverty and gender in the Philippines, illustrating that while women face significant challenges and burdens, there are signs of progress towards greater gender equality. So, pinapalabas dito na kahit maraming pagsubok ang pinagdadaanan ng mga kababaihan, ay nakikita pa rin ng society yung contribution na ibibigay ng mga kababaihan sa community. The fourth subtopic is the intersections between poverty, gender, and household transitions. So, a significant shift in societal perceptions regarding female household headship, illustrating that women are increasingly viewed as capable and resilient leaders within their families. So, it shows na Filipino women are empowered and kaya nilang gawin ang kahit ano despite sa mga challenges na nararanasan nila. The fifth subtopic is the conjugality, fertility, and intergenerational transfers. So, marriage remains prevalent among the poor with evolving ideas regarding the appropriate age for marriage and a strong emphasis on the value of children. So, sinasabi dito ang importansya ng responsible parenting at ang kahalagahan ng mga anak when it comes to emotional support and economic security. And last subtopic for gender and generational dimensions of poverty in the Philippines ay ang grassroots views on poverty reduction initiatives. So, the significant gap in awareness among poor women in the Philippines regarding poverty reduction initiatives. So, ini-emphasize po dito ang kahalagahan ng community engagement and mga NGOs na nagtutulong at tumutulong sa ating mga kababayan na iahon sila sa kahirapan. So, I believe this is the end of my reporting. So, again, I am Harvey Dizon Sanggalang and thank you for listening.